Hello, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Third time I've tried to make this video on this fucking physical versus digital shit with PlayStation. And I can only really speak personally. I can't put myself in other people. I can put myself in other people's shoes to a certain point. I can understand collectors that have collected video games from the NES right up to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I totally get it, and they've got all the walls covered in games and everything like that. Totally understand quandary. I get it. I get why they're pissed off. But when you've got figures like this, what percentage of gamers buy physical games versus digital games on PlayStation? Roughly 80% to 85% of total full game sales on PlayStation are digital, leaving physical disc sales at just 15 to 20%. That is a very, very small number. 15 to 20% arguing with the rest of the percentage. Do you know what I mean? It just seems, again, like this is the smallest minor. Like when you go on Twitter and you're seeing everyone screaming from the rooftops like, this is disgusting. And don't forget, I come from a time where physical media, that's all I knew until the PS4. When I really started to, like, everything before that I was physical. Right from the NES to the Xbox 360 to the PS3, I was physical media. And then the PS4, I was like, started physical, and then I realised I could just download games, and I've never looked back. God forbid I'm still supporting video games, do you know what I mean? And all this, like, so I'm from a time where, and I remember when you went, you know, back in the day, you'd go to the shop, you'd pick up a game, you know, you'd pick up the game, you'd look at the artwork, you'd look at the back, you'd check a few screenshots, you'd read a little bit, and you'd take it home. But like, and we used to have a manual in. Games don't have manuals in now. The physical ones don't even have manuals in, not the ones I remember. They used to have manuals in there, and the manual was like a tutorial, and you'd have a little bio about all the enemies that you're going to fight, a little bit of a bio about all the characters that are in the game, like the controls, you know, a bit of story, a bit of backstory. You could smell it, you could, you know, and I think that's what people are going to miss. Personally, I've moved on, do you know what I mean? And if people still like to collect games, then they should be allowed to collect video games. But in terms of like, is this going to affect me personally? No. Do I care? No, I couldn't fucking care less. But I understand and respect the people that do. But when you've got such a small percentage of people buying video games now, of course Sony, and I'm not defending it, but of course Sony's going to react to that and be like, well, you know, we're wasting a lot of money here catering to 15 to 20% of the market. It costs money to put these games on disc. It costs money to make this packaging. It costs money to create artwork. Do you know what I mean? And if they can cut all this out and get rid of this, and it makes digital games cheaper, then I'll be happy. If they cut all this out and get rid of the disc and the packaging and the, you know, the shipping it to retailers and distribution costs and all that jazz, if they do all that and they're saving all this money, and digital games are still £70, then we've got a fucking problem, because that's where I'll get fucking pissed off. But this thing about ownership, you know, it's a very grey area. You know, I've owned games on disc, and they've all been online games, granted, but like Anthem got closed down the other day. Didn't matter if you had it on digital or disc, didn't fucking work anymore. If you had Evolved, what was it called? The 4-player where you had to hunt a monster online. Great game, didn't last very long. Again, shut down. Disc or disc digital, didn't matter, the game was gone. Game's gone. Battleborn, same game. I had Battleborn on disc. Didn't do very well. They shut the servers down. Disc's fucking useless. With single player games as well, I mean, for whatever reason, if a studio gets shut down, or you could still get locked out of content and all this sort of stuff like that, if you've got a disc or digital. So this like, I don't know, I just think this whole thing about you own it for forever is a bit of a unicorn. Do you know what I mean? I think if you get games like Arkham City and it's had its last patch, then yeah, you probably could just plug that in and play it for forever. Do you know what I mean? But as long as games need updates, they need to connect to the internet to get the latest update because there's a bug or a glitch. Regardless if you've got the disc or not, it's still the same fucking game. So I don't know, it just gets a bit weird there for me. I get what people are saying. Back in the PlayStation days, the NES, the Super Nintendo, the N64, the GameCube, before any console had the internet, yes, you bought a video game. I could go and buy a GameCube now and buy Mario Sunshine secondhand, plug it all into a TV and put the game in, and it would work because the game was finished. There's no patches, there's no updates. Most games now have patches, day one patches, updates. Not to mention the fact that you can have games get damaged. It's happened to me before. I've accidentally stood on discs and cracked them. I've scratched them up so much that they wouldn't even fucking read anymore. I've had games stolen from me. Do you know what I mean? So then, if anything like that happens to this disc, unless you're very good at looking after your discs, if anything happens to this disc, it gets stolen, smashed, damaged, whatever, scratched up to fuck, and I want to play this game, I've got to go and buy this fucking game again. So there's other things people aren't really talking about. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a digital game, I've never bought a digital game. I've bought Cyberpunk on every single fucking system. When you buy a digital game, that's it. I download it and that's it. I play it unless it gets locked out for some reason or shut down. The game's pretty reliable. But if I own Grand Theft Auto 5 and then suddenly the fucking license gets fucking taken away, the fucking disc isn't going to work either. Do you know what I mean? So I just think, once again, I just think it's people just screaming at clouds. But I do understand the frustration, because video games should be collectible. They should be preserved, they should be maintained. We're not, and a lot of these games, you're getting games now released on PlayStation. We're not getting a lot of PlayStation 1 classics anymore on the highest tier of the PlayStation Plus subscription. Do you know what I mean? So I've seen games popping up like the Fighting Force 1 and 2. You would think that would come with the PlayStation subscription. Oh no, you've got to buy it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, there's no graphical update, there's nothing like that. This is a very greedy Sony. I always say, I've said it in previous videos, the console that wins the generation is the greediest going into the next generation. It's happened with Xbox 360 going into the Xbox One, the PlayStation 2 going into the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 going into the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 going into the PlayStation 6. And then these next consoles are rumoured to not have disc drives. So maybe, are they not future-proofing now? Are they not ripping off the Band-Aid now and being like, right, we're stopping physical media because the next lot of consoles aren't going to have a disc, so it's all going to be digital anyway, so we're getting you mentally prepared for it. And I'm seeing people saying like, oh, if the next generation of consoles don't have discs, I won't be taking part. And that's fine, that's your choice, you're obligated to do that. I think you're talking shit, you're obligated to do that. I'm more concerned about the next generation, how fucking much it's going to cost us. And if them shipping a PlayStation 5 without a disc drive is going to knock a fucking £100 off the price, then I'm all for that. PS5 that I got at launch didn't have a disc drive, couldn't afford or justify. I thought, hang on, so there's two PlayStation 5s here. There's one with a disc drive, there's one without. One's £100 cheaper. I wonder. Oh, I could just buy all my games digitally. Okay, I'll just do that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I am a digital guy. PC's digital, no one has a fucking problem with that. PC's been digital for fucking God knows how long. You got Nintendo doing the weird thing with the keys, the fucking the discs. They're like digital fucking cards on console now. So yeah, it sucks, but like it's 2026. Do you know what I mean? And I think everything's gonna go digital eventually. I would be very disappointed if like 4K Ultra HDs disappear, because I don't have a massive collection, but I've started to collect them because I'm just buying my favourite films at the moment because I want to see them in the highest fucking fidelity I can. If they disappear, yeah, that's fucking disappointing, but it's a small collection. I haven't fucking really got like walls and walls and walls of games and DVDs and HDR fucking Blu-rays and all this. But if you are in that situation where you're sat in your game room and you're looking around, you're going, fuck, this is all fucking coming into an end. Yeah, I get it, it's fucking sad. But personally, I couldn't fucking care less.